guys, and welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to be covering quite a few things. There's quite a few updates Sunderland related, be it injuries, contract renewals and potential signings and signings themselves as well. So firstly we are going to go to the bad news. Just this morning Sunderland have announced that skipper Corey Evans is going to be missing the remainder of the season, which is an absolutely massive blow. You know, if you follow me for a while now, you'll know that I've had a sort of hit and miss relationship in terms of how I valued Corey Evans. I think he had a slow start to the club and I did struggle to see what he brought to the side originally. You know, when he first come in, you know, we weren't playing fantastic. And then when he was on the pitch, I thought he was a little bit of a passenger, sort of the easy passes. It was always backwards. But then I think as time went on, his confidence grew, his experience started to show, and his value started to show as well. He can really start to demand and control the middle of the park, be in front of the defence. If we are getting overrun a little bit in the midfield, he's more than capable of using his experience and initiative to drop back into our sort of defensive line or back line to pick up the ball and then begin an attack from there. And he's very, very good at doing that. It sounds simple, but he's very good at it. You know, he has become that leader that we need in the middle. Maybe not the sort of physical presence that we need, I believe, but he is a leader and he's managed to gain the respect of the players. So if you have a look at the actual statement from the club, it's only a short and sweet one, which is all you need really with things like this. But Sunderland AFC can confirm that Corey Evans has suffered damage to his anterior cruciate ligament. The midfielder will undergo surgery and is expected to be sidelined for the remainder of the season after picking up the injury during Sunday's win over Middlesbrough. We're right behind you, skipper. You know, we're right behind you is absolutely right, because, you know, for anyone to suffer an injury like that, a season-ending injury, with it being his ACL as well, it must be an absolute nightmare. I was very, very surprised when I heard it, to be honest with you. I know Evans is certainly not the kind of player who's going to make a meal out of things, roll all around on the ground, and he looked like he was injured, of course, and he had to come off against Borough, but he didn't look like he was in sort of agonising pain. But again, he's not one of those kind of players that's going to roll around and act like he's been shot by a sniper. So I didn't expect it to be that bad. I thought it might be a week or two, might be a little bit of a knock, but you know, it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. Now, in terms of what we can do in the market, I think Tony Mowbray said that he needs to assess his options, which is absolutely true. I've seen some people on social media say we need to recall Jay Matete. For me, I think that would be almost quite hypocritical, because I think it would be a similar situation to what Everton did to Ellis Sims. Because with Matete, he wasn't getting a look in at all, really, was he? And yes, he had the sort of little bit part here and there where he'd come on for the final sort of 10-15 minutes of a game. And he did look alright, he looked decent, he looked useful, but he wasn't getting anywhere near enough time that he needs. He's just gone to Plymouth, he's made a great start there, he's becoming their main man there, he's putting in man of the match performances, he's playing excellently well, bagging assists and what have you, and he's playing very, very well. So what would be the point for us to drag him back up from, back down, should I say, from Plymouth, you know, with no disrespect, should I say, and then just stick him on our bench just in case. You know, we want to get someone who's actually going to be competing for the middle place. We've just brought in Eckworth, which, you know, it's a perfect segue for me to take you on to that. You know, we just brought in Eckworth from West Ham. You know, he's had time at Chelsea. We did speak about it in the transfer rumour video. He's a player, you know, I think he's only 21 years of age. I think, anyway, I could be wrong there, could be 19, 21. Either way, he's a young lad. He's played all up the ranks for West Ham. I think he scored like seven goals and a load of assists already this season. From midfield, he said that he can play defensive midfielder, attacking midfielder. He can do a bit of both. He likes to consider himself as a number 8. Exciting. So we have brought someone in, but maybe not quite the sort of a leadership material we need in the middle. Is it time for Dhannoo to step up as a captain or a leadership role? I think he does have that in him. I think Luke O'Nien, for me, I think when he does come back, he can easily slip into that captain role, and I think he absolutely deserves it. You know, I think people forget and have very short memories. You know, and I've seen quite a lot of people get on Luke O'Nien's back, giving the sending off, and of course he's currently banned at the minute. And then people have been calling him liability, this, that, and the other, and some actually going in on his ability in general. When we need to remember, you know, generally this season he's probably been one of our best players, if not the best player. One of them, anyways. He's in, for me, one of the top sort of 3-4 players this season. To come as centre back, plays well as he has done. You know, he's had injuries alongside him. He's been sort of building relationships and partnerships with several different other centre backs and being just as good as them. And he's not a natural centre back. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like some people forget that. So it's easy to forget. If someone has 1 or 2 bad games, they forget the remainder of the sort of the entirety of the season just because they've had a couple of bad games or what have you. That's just the nature of football and fans and social media. But for me, I think Luke O'Nien does fit into the leadership role. He's bought into this club, and not only does he have the perfect attitude and as a role model, his ability has been there to boot, and it's been there for all to see now, I think, and he's shown that he's at least of championship ability. So that's what I would do anyway in terms of the captain. I know that Bailey Wright, he is the sort of vice captain, isn't he? But there's rumours that he's going to Portsmouth come the end of this window, which I wouldn't like. I'd like to see Bailey Wright remain. I think he has that personality, that experience, and he has that sort of personality you need in the dressing room for a successful team. But no, Bailey Wright being Bailey Wright, he's not going to want to sit on the bench just to be a sort of a coach to the younger players, is it? He's going to want to play. He's that kind of player. So I'd understand that if he did go, but we're going to need backup again if that's the case, if he is to leave. Now, speaking on Dan Neil, there's heavy rumours that Sunderland are currently in talks with Dan Neil to give him a new contract, and that would be deserved. Now, particularly over the sort of recent games he can do on his defensive side, he worked in his game. He'd come out in an interview recently saying that he did get a bit of a sort of humbling from Alex Neil when Alex Neil first came in, because Alex Neil dropped him because he wasn't doing the defensive side of the game right. But I think he's improved on that. And now Dan Neil said himself, he thinks that he's actually, originally his attacking sort of play was up here and his defensive game was down here. But now it's kind of reversed and he's kind of dropped off in his attacking game because he's focused so hard to improve his defensive game. So now he's trying to balance it out and trying to bring his attacking game back to where it was. He's only going to build, he's a determined lad, he's a clever lad, and he can be a very clever player, at times. So Sunderland are apparently in contract talks with him because I think Premier League clubs are starting to sniff around him. I think he has 2.5 years in his contract, so it's not absolute desperate at the minute. But, to try and tie him down, that's what we want. We want Dan Neil to be our centre midfielder for years to come and to improve with us. And I'm sure that Dan Neil would want to do that, unless, one of the big sort of top 4, top 6 Premier League clubs come in. It's hard to refuse. But, with him being a Sunderland lad, you'd like to think he'd want to continue with the club. So that's that. Now, in terms of more incomings, I believe from France there has been reports that Isaac Lihadji, which we have touched upon in the previous Transfer Rumours video, it has been said that we're only hours away from signing him. How legit this is, I don't know, but there are a lot of reports coming from France saying that he's very, very close to signing the dotted line with Sunderland. He is a winger. He's played for all up the ranks, the youth ranks with France. So, again, I did mention the Transfer Rumours video. I don't know whether this is correct or not. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I'm sure I did see a report that he actually broke his leg over the last couple of years or something like that. And he was like sort of up and coming, and it was sort of the next big thing. And then he broke his leg, but now he's sort of coming back. So I don't know whether that is correct. I could be wrong. I definitely saw it somewhere. I don't know whether it was just bollocks or what. I'm not sure. But yeah, all I've seen is little compilations of him, like everyone else has on YouTube, and bits and pieces here and there on social media. And it looks like another exciting player that gives us another option across the wings. And I think that might end up meaning someone like Dietrich goes out on loan, which I think is absolutely needed as well. For me, Dietrich, I don't think he's good enough. I think he was barely good enough for League One, in my opinion. I think he could offer something, help something a bit different here and there. And I have been very harsh on Dietrich, but for me, he just doesn't cut it. He doesn't cut it for me. So it would be a perfect opportunity if Lihadji was to come in for Dietrich to go out. But we have been linked as well with a couple of little young strikers here and there, but nothing too much, nothing too formal or concrete. So I won't bring that up at this point in time. But that is everything at the moment, guys. How gutted are you with Corey Evans? Let me know in the comments down below. Would you give Dan Neil a new contract? And also, who would you replace Corey Evans as captain? Would you stick with Bailey Wright? Do you agree with me that Luke O'Nien could fit into that role? I think he could. He absolutely bleeds this club at the minute. He's, like I say, he's bought into the club. His attitude's second to none. And also people don't like him just because he smiles and he has a bit of personality. Or would you give it to someone like Dan Neil? Of course, he's from the area, but is he ready to captain this club at the moment? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. But for now, take care and stay jamming.